So the offshot is, for those people who fucked it, not fucked it, you didn't fuck it, I fucked it, is that they've just been on a mission to Linvale. Linvale is a town nearby. They went and found a necromancer there who had a deal with the local mayor for the fresh corpses of the newly deceased. The necromancer didn't seem hostile. She was living with undead she referred to as her children. And there was no signs of the freshly dead there, only people who had died, as a matter of course. That is apart from one guard who was de-legged. So we have to figure out what that means. That aside, there was a thick fog, an acrid fog that descended on the area, and is looked to as perhaps a source of something else at work there aside from the necromancer. That'll be interesting to see how people handle this thing. Or want to, anyway. Ah, good day.
If it isn't our elusive Professor Nella.
It is. I do apologize. I have been somewhat deep in my studies. I've just been consulting Professor Acteris at the gate. He gave me an interesting rundown of the day's proceedings. A necromancer referring to undead as her children, so to speak.
Really?
Indeed. A thick mist that has descended over the place, acrid and poisonous to a sort. A newly discovered corpse with its legs hewn off. They're not quite sure what to make of it. More curious still that good Octavian appears to have not made his stance publicly known on a necromancer. Unusual for one of his ilk. Usually his sorts are the first to cry havoc and swear vengeance on such people.
Oh, believe me, if it is truly a necromancer, we cannot allow her to live, especially on this island.
Yes. Acteris was unaware of, how shall we say, quite how many she has stockpiled over the years. Though clearly investigating further may have posed some risk to the children, particularly given the risk of he wasn't able to pinpoint the true cause of these disappearances. I understand that Professor Bombadil has secured a sample of some such. It's probably best to investigate before venturing further. But as I said, will you be calling a debrief of sorts, or
Absolutely. Is Acteris still by the gate?
I held him long enough after a long journey. I'm sure he's making his way to the staff lounge as we speak.
Perfect, excellent. We'll have a quick meeting with him and then call upon the rest of them.
Indeed.
Right, thank you for letting me know.
Of course. How's the levels? Is it loud enough? But it's fine. Yeah. I have a stream deck that I sometimes forget to press the buttons on, and I'm an idiot. Good day. Ah, bugger. There goes exactly the man I wanted to speak to. Bloody fucking teleporters, he could be anywhere now. I don't suppose our ever-elusive paladin was, indicated where he was headed at all, did he?
I don't think so.
No clue.
Ah, bugger. Can't stand these things.
The pathway.
Hmm?
He's walking down the pathway.
Was he indeed? I swear I saw him use the teleporter just moments ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I wasn't looking behind me.
No worries. It was just a hint. People step on the things, you haven't got a bloody clue where they've gone. No, those days are long behind you. Did Professor Malik find you?
Not yet.
I see. I told him you were likely headed to the lounge, so it might endear yourself to him to just sit put for the time being. I believe he wants to call a formal debrief of sorts, after a quick word with yourself. Interesting. He must have been waylaid. I'd have expected him to have made his way over by now. I'll let him know you're here if I see him. Unless, of course, he called by the medical ward. Doesn't seem likely. Right. Shocking backlock. As I suspected. Quiet as the grave. Makes a change.
Yeah.
Good day. Good day. Were you upon this expedition of sorts? Unusual to see one such as yourself lonesome in the corridor such as this. Are you waiting for someone?
Yes, I'm waiting for the announcements.
For the announcements? Ah. I believe there's going to be a quick debrief with Malik in some moments, after he finds Acteris. I don't suppose you've seen him at all. Good day.
Hello.
Good morning, Good morning, Cecily. Stella. It was the fucking name.
Are people struggling with that, seriously?
They are.
Interesting. One would almost think they're making a point of it. Oh well.
You would think yes, but then again, those are the same students who walked around and harassed people about getting information about the fact.
Yes, so they are. Well, we live and we hope things improve. Have a good day now. Which teams to pick on today?
Honestly, it's like a strawberry. You bite off the tip and you eat the rinds.
Moment to sit. Inside the wall, apparently. He does look like Caleb returned from safari. It's always difficult because people set the ranges to be different in terms of voice tapering off per map. So we'll chuck that up a little bit higher. Hopefully that doesn't break anything. Still a little bit under weather, so this is your warning that I'm about to sniff. I do apologize. I don't know if I have the patience for Ignis today. Lumen have their own issues. Ventus could be worth a conversation. It appears Ambra is still asleep. But then, why not pick from those who are eager to learn? At least they're present. Good day.
Professor Noah.
May I help you at all?
I suspect that we'll away for announcements and activities before too long, but I had hoped to speak with you later if you'll have time.
Of course, I was in fact deciding which team it was I wish to confer with myself today. We have much work to do about the place. I suppose Ventus will do if you're not too tired from your travels.
I'm not sure I can speak for the rest of the team.
Hmm,
I was our captain and Yuki his lieutenant.
I see. Well, in that case, my opinion of your captain continues to rise if he has you speaking so formally. But yes, of course. We'll find some time to speak later. I believe Malik is currently debriefing Actaris and Octavian at the present moment. There is no particular stress from what I can understand. But you are dismissed.
Thank you, Professor.
If you could relay to your captain that I wish to speak to you and your team later, I would be most appreciative.
Thanks.
It's always curious seeing what people pick up to eat. We have so much food.
We can ask Kiki for a hit.
That's true, actually. Yeah, I'm okay. I have a headband.
Professors in the campus.
That's good.
I'm
Best keep up appearances. I fucking love the soundtrack. Well, well, what to pretend to eat today? Find the stalest piece of bread we can muster, perhaps. Item of cheese. My real-life wine, because I've had a stressful day. Yeah, I think that was the pick. Oh, a tea set. How long has it been? I used to enjoy tea so. Oh, well. I swear, this is the worst thing about these morning meetings. Watching all the greedy little shits stuff their faces. This is the Frostpunk soundtrack. This is a Udon map, yes. Though I dare say I've not been able to support it with scripts for so long because of work. Being a bit more chill today. I feel like I could talk to chat a bit more. They're supposed to be relaxing after a mission, so I don't want to inject too much. Bye, Arestius. Have a good one. And yes, it's absolutely good to be back. I need to get some plots going and get my foot in the door. There are lots of stuff planned. It's just, you've got to respect the pacing. You wouldn't happen to know if Actaris managed to find Malik in the end, or vice versa?
No.
I
found Octavian, though.
Oh, really? Whereabouts was
He
he?
jumped off a cliff, head first into a boulder, and then ran off with my beer mug.
That
I think
sounds
he's
like
on
him.
He's having a bit of an episode.
Hmm. Is he being
But I'm
medicated
sure
by
he'll be
someone
fine.
other than Bombadil?
I don't know. I don't really care to learn about his medication. and doctor appointments.
It can help to know the strengths and weaknesses of your allies. I have been ever so curious about those marks on his neck. I doubt they've escaped your notice.
I noticed them, and I decided not to give a shit. Why?
Oh, I don't know. It's most curious indeed that he's not expressed the strongest of opinions on this necromancer, don't you think? People of the church are usually so staunch about those sorts of things.
I suppose, but I can't say no much about his church.
I half expected to find him in here, standing on the balustrade, declaring some sort of crusade. But instead he's stealing beer mugs and headbutting boulders. You don't think he's been influenced by this fog of sorts we've been hearing about, do you?
The moment I found out he was sent here by the church, that's when I realized he was their least respectable member. Otherwise, why would they send him to here, an island, and for God knows nowhere?
A reasonable assumption.
I suppose, and,
That is the second time I've turned towards Ava and just died. I saw a flash of light on her hip earlier. I'll have to watch that back. I wonder if they stole the gold to some sort of retirement present. I'm sure there's more to it than that.
They were previously
Do you usually allow students to charge so gallantly through your kitchen? Dare say they're traipsing all sorts of mud in. Where did they go? Sprinting off in the direction of the graveyard. Well, I'm sure we can accompany that. We can accommodate that, should they be so inclined.
No.
I better go find out what they're bloody doing, Benarai. You're right. Uh-oh. Ah. So this is what is attracting your attention. Is there a particular reason you've decided to get in with the livestock? We can have your bed moved over if you wish.
I didn't know we had cows.
We're farming division, so we're at least taking stock.
Is this a Virakar thing?
No.
Understood.
If it was, sir, I would be in there.
Fair enough. Am I to take it these are from the village?
Yes, sir.
I was told that these individuals were emaciated and struggling, kept within their walls as they were.
So what does that word mean?
It means that they were struggling to eat. Please don't walk so carefully behind a beast of burden. Well, I suppose.
Understood the same, sir, and I am just as confused as you are about this,
He gave us 4.
Must be a relative.
Yeah!
Nonetheless, don't you think it's slightly concerning that these people were so eager to give up their last remaining livestock, or any livestock at all for that matter, if they were so struggling?
Maybe starving was a relative term.
Starving is not a relevant term, Avi. It describes a very specific phenomenon.
Were they desperate?
Did we trade anything with them, or is it simply they just gave us
I did
cows?
not attend this mission, though I'm curious to know what it was that you gave in exchange for their most important resource. These people were struggling.
Yes, I doubt they gave it to us just for nothing. There might have been something that we've gotten them. We have to give them back in return of equal value, right?
Yes.
Although
My concern now is that we have a very hefty debt to these people because they gave us 4 of their fucking cows.
I understand that Octavian is behaving rather, oh, for God's sake. something funny.
I somehow feel that a god
No,
needs to
just
reach
irritated.
the roll to see what happens.
Yes, I too sometimes bend at the waist in irritation. Oh no, that's not right. I punch people in the stomach. Don't fuck with me. Now, if you would not mind, get out of the pen!
Sir, I don't know exactly what...
Okay, I'm going to respond to that disembodied voice.
If you wish to spend the night
Trying to get us to go to announcements to get us started.
Yeah.
in this pen, then I'm sure we could arrange it.
Have announcements getting to.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
let's go.
It is the end of the day. Announcements happen in the morning.
Wait,
I'm tired.
what?
Look at the bloody sun, Murtesh.
I have a lot of features to a cow.
Need I remind you,
Horns, though.
it is the end of the day. Announcements happen in the morning. Realm?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Oh, nothing. I was just carefully observing that you cleaned your feet before running through the kitchen that the Madari slave so hard to clean. Much like your... Oh, looks like those ears are for something after all. What of Avi, I wonder?
It's a very...
Well, nope, nope, there he goes. I don't remember dismissing you. Ah, that's what I'm gonna find out. Ah. Oh, am I? Oh, fuck. Ah. Sorry, chat. Really stressful day today. I'm making loads of mistakes. Let's quickly do a reset. Uh-huh. Cool, Steadicam still on. What? Damn, I got jumps! Hey, lore. He's not there. Ben. Okay.
Yes?
Ah. I am correct in assuming that these guys have just walked home after a long day, as we discussed on the meeting, and therefore morning announcements aren't happening
yes.
because it is
Yes, they
not
have.
morning. Ah, good. I thought I could remember people. Cheers, no worries.
Okay.
Good. I knew I wasn't stupid. No bad Scandinavian accent or lagging to hell. Well, well, well. I remember the camera. The camera's still there. I can see the camera. Is the camera working? The camera should be working. Don't do this to me. Camera is working. Thank you, X-Step.
You know, it went great. We went.
Are you two enjoying your meal?
People
catching up about what happened.
I see.
Find out from everyone.
Glad to hear it. I don't suppose you've seen Malik anywhere.
Potentially the headmaster's chambers.
Hmm.
We might be having a debrief. I overheard.
Why is everybody milling around here? Curiosity.
They might not have had their breakfast yet, but Aqua's meeting place is just around the corner.
I see. What was your name again?
Lethariel, sir.
I see. Allow me to show you something, Lethariel. Come with me.
We're not near any enemies.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to the Chancellor about this. This is like bad.
You see that over there?
The greenhouse, sir?
Not quite, no. Bigger than that.
The tree?
Nope. Still far too close, I'm afraid.
You don't mean the sun, do you?
I do, in fact. What would the sun be doing at this present moment in time?
It's an odd, not an odd question. Existing, sir?
We can assume that most things I point to are, in fact, existing in some capacity.
Yes.
What's it doing right now with this time of day? What will it continue to do for a few hours?
Cast light? Everything?
It's going down, Lethariel.
Oh, yes.
Because it is the end of the day. I do not know what is usual for moon elves such as yourself, but typically we find that breakfast, and the announcements indeed, are a bit of a custom we have in the morning.
Yes, sir.
Is it usual for members of Aqua Team to be milling around until the afternoon or evening hours for their breakfast? Is this some sort of training regimen you have in place?
Not that I'm aware, sir.
Very good. Well, if you're all not otherwise occupied and well fed with your breakfasts, I was rather hoping to have a discussion with your team and their captain a little bit later on, within my chambers. Can I expect you all in 5-10 minutes?
Of course, sir. I can let them know, yes.
Excellent. Do you know where my offices are?
I believe it was the first floor, but am I mistaken?
It is. First floor, down the corridor on the right. I shall see you there.
Yes, sir.
Well.
Thank you.
Typically, we wipe our feet before going into a kitchen. Maybe just an A6 tradition. Let's see how she manages. And if the occlusion's broken in here. Big moment for some wine, I think. Yes, that sounds very civilized. It's time to start a new initiative. Yes, it is. isn't it? It's here. I thought we might as well use it. To be fair, I have specified that I don't actually want anything in particular in my classroom, because I won't be using it much, but it's here, so I may as well use it. Let's see what we have. But at least someone's attempted to clean it. If it wasn't for the material, I would say it was wrested straight from the Ratmen. A good many of the students seem to favor spears. I wonder if that's because of Octavian, or if there's something else going on. My, that is quite the hammer. And Vicky-sized child things besides. Really, whatever is to become of them? Ah, yes. The halberd. Nobody forgets their first time wielding one of these. A sense of power. That strange feeling that you could smash someone's head in with nary an effort. A sword is one thing, but a halberd, with a halberd you're certain. At least we have cleaned the place of tables as I requested. Ah, yes. Much more suitable. That being said, I would almost prefer that they didn't have shields at all than training them passively to hold them so close to their chests. Honestly, what good's it going to do you there? A rookie mistake. Won't do you good against a magical blade anyway, will it? Let's not do too much to destroy them just yet. Come, come. Melt away. Are they at least amassing? Interesting. Raoul? What are you doing? Ah, the debrief. Sure Malik will let me know what I need to. Oh, thank you for following, Xander. Yes, sandpits for wrestling and practicing takedowns. Target dummies and a shitload of weapons. Part of what I intend to do is to be teaching them about the fact that there is no one size fits all. There are different tools for different jobs. And often it's one of these things. I mean, honestly. This, scarcely more than a Taj, That... Slim. Viking. Quickly fetch a book from outside.
Failed to grasp it back.
Oh, that should do. Yes, something along those lines. No, I don't think we want them getting that idea. Hmm.
had a really good meditation for divine
Yes,
magic.
I'm trying to replicate. I was trying to.
I take it they're still busy in their debrief downstairs.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Shatalatun. My, they have the whole bloody party in there. There'll be a while with that many voices around the table. Curious.
Clairvoyance?
Scrying. An integral part of the defensive arts. It's important to be able to sense what's around you. First and foremost. But I'm sure we'll talk about that later on. No, he's not in today.
There was a rumor circulating beforehand about there being some sort of spellcaster present there before the scouting team went off, so I've advised my team to look into defense against magic and our best efforts against it, and I'd advise the same.
It's actually running in here, oh my god.
We are to kill a necromancer, whatever that may be.
Oh, I'll tell you right now. If you decide not to kill him, the staff will. I will not allow that thing to stay alive on this island.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I'm sure none of you know what necromancy truly is. But it is such a deplorable, heretical act.
It's part of the world, Malik.
Necromancy is fueled on the souls of the dead. And it uses them up. Destroys them. Those people never go to void. They never pass beyond the gates of death. They are destroyed. Very. This isn't simply your run-of-the-mill occultist. This is the worst kind of monster.
I wouldn't know about it.
So I ask you again, woman, Aqua Ignis. Are you willing to kill this woman, this abomination?
At your behest, Council.
Good. Is there any further questions?
I need to stop pressing that button.
You are dismissed.
Am I to understand you really took cows from emaciated farmers?
Office at the sound of the event bell.
I only heard about that. I have no idea where they are.
Make it 15.
They're in the pen. They were all petting them earlier.
Dismissed.
God damn, they move fast.
Apparently so.
good news I'd heard from the kill team is Professor Nella, it looks like you're going to be busy.
Indeed. Well, I'm glad to hear that someone at least has decided to take an interest in magics. I knew it would only be a matter of time.
We've been taking a proactive approach in deciding to begin reading up on defense against magic. Who better than teach him?
Indeed. I'm having to lean on your fundaments, of course, but it is amazing. Everybody tells you that they have no interest whatsoever in learning anything like defense. They all want to throw fireballs and become the most muscly man they can be. Then all of a sudden they come across something which can steal and bite into their soul, and their opinion radically changes. Remarkable, wouldn't you say?
Quite so.
Even so, I have Aqua Team waiting. Was there anything that I missed? I do apologize. I was seeing to the rest of the grounds. No, it is all right. I spoke to Arcturus in private. I am curious. I understood that the farmers in question, this Linvale, were emaciating. Is that correct? I believe that was the word you used.
I was referring to the undead.
Ah, my apologies. I must have misunderstood.
In great condition either. Half their food was rotted. One of the farms had a, I believe, fungal infection.
A fungal infection? And I take it that the cows, which we've somehow remarkably taken from these struggling villagers, have been tested for fungal poisoning and the like?
Not yet, but they were brought
Not yet! In the middle of our farm. But more than it, it seems you'll be quite busy in the coming days.
Yes. I recommended we look at the chickens if Bombadil really wanted to take something from the village. Trade. Somehow he went above that and got 4 cows.
And what did we trade in return?
I have no clue.
I see. I understand that Professor Acterus has... not Acterus, my apologies. But good Octavian has been running around stealing beer mugs from Bellicosa and headbutting boulders. Do you suspect he's inhaled any of this strange gas you discussed?
If he has, watch for me later.
I will do.
Trips into that fog.
Well, if you ever start stealing anyone's mugs and face-planting boulders, you will be sure that I will definitely say something about it. Either way, good day to you both. Oh? I am all ears.
Saw the flyers that were put up this morning.
I did not. Interesting.
They must have swarmed on it like vultures.
They must have. My, they are making plays. Half of me hoped that they wouldn't do it, leaving their rear guard undefended so. They either have very low opinions of the rest of ASICs, or their numbers have grown substantially, and will grow further still with the riches they've plundered, I'm sure. Well, interesting. Thank you for telling me this. I will have to ruminate on this. Have the students been informed? Well, I take it they only matter of time if the flyers are about.
They are, and I announced it to the team captains and
Well, in that case, more the reason for me to hurry up and resume tuition. Interesting. Thank you for the pointer.
Alright, so they've taken their cows, their rations, and they've stolen from their dad.
My God, me and Bellicosa agree on something.
horrible thing with their sons.
Are we expecting a blue moon anytime soon?
Don't believe so.
Is that a metaphor?
Yes. Either way, if you're quite done, I'm sure there's much to ruminate about and plans to be made in the short term. If I could ask you all to accompany me inside. Why? Come on, come. Here we go. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Goodness me, I believe that's the full team. Unless I'm incorrect. I've been rather absorbed in my studies recently. Good stuff then. In that case, I have high hopes for this little exercise we'll be doing. I'll try not to keep you over long, but then of course that depends very much on yourselves. I understand you were discussing a little bit about the nature of our newfound foe. Have any of you any experience with necromancy or warlocks in general?
Only stories and, well, no direct experience, sir.
Indeed. It truly is remarkable the amount of knowledge which has gone away from public discourse. It speaks a lot of the capriciousness and, well, nervousness of these individuals that they manage to keep so much knowledge squirreled away for so long. Indeed, knowledge to even the effect of how you begin to go about these things is sometimes enough to get people hunted down. Unless, of course, you're a member of a reputable institution. But more on that later, I'm sure. Jarl, I have a simple question for you. Something to help me with a new technique I've been studying into. You know this fellow with the wings for ears, yes? You do? I would assume as much, given your familiarity with him as your captain. I see. You're rather quiet there, Jarl.
I don't know if that's any better, sir.
It's markedly better. Something in your wrist clogging your throat, I'm sure. Even so, this Raum fellow here. Pray tell, who does Raum wish to be?
Can't say I know all his aspirations, sir.
Well, what of them? Any at all?
I know that he's very good with that bow of his, and he plans to use it with us, obviously, all to...
Well, you're describing Raum at the moment, though I have yet to see much of his archery prowess. And given that he carries around the thing with some intent. What of young Gillican here? You've known him for longer, I understand. And who does Gillican want to be?
Even then... I must admit, sir, I suppose maybe I don't know everyone here quite as personally as I...
Well, the Lothario then, or Avi?
Perhaps should. Other than, obviously, the purpose of we're all here for, sir, I must admit.
Ah. I rather suspected that was the case. And truth be told, I rather suspect that will be the answer from everyone forthcoming. Pray tell, how have you been leading them and encouraging them if you don't know what their aspirations are?
I'll be honest, sir, I'm not entirely sure what I was doing when I was given the position of leadership.
Well, I suppose that's part of the reason we're having this meeting, is it? We'll try another question. At what point does Aqua cease operational capacity? If you were out in the field, on a military exercise, at what point does Aqua retreat?
I suppose at any point that someone is critically injured to the point where they cannot fight anymore and we can't.
You'll wait until you're critically injured.
Well, I mean, when it's to the point that we can't bring them back, heal them on.
I see. What function does Avi hold in your party?
He's sort of like... sorry. He's a defensive frontliner.
A defensive frontliner? Do you agree with that, Avi? Did you know that, Raum? Did you know that Avi's your defensive frontliner?
Yes, sir, we know.
I see. What does Lothariel do? Raum?
Lothariel is the mid support and healer of the team.
I see. Okay. Can you list off the rest of them? Wilkie? Jarl? Keep fucking doing that. I never get his name right for some reason.
Raum is obviously our ranged support from behind.
Mm-hmm.
Lothariel also supporting healing. So
what does support mean? Surely you're an operational unit. You're all here to support one another.
Yes, so, but less directly sort of combative, sir.
Can we agree to stop using the word support? It's rather useless. Healing has a direct application and term. People know what a healer does. They don't know what a support person does. It can mean one of many, many things. And I'm afraid I don't know your name.
Amari, sir.
Amari, thank you. What role does Amari play? You, though they may be.
Amari's one about offensive.
Offensive? Offensive how?
Variety of weapons.
With a wide variety of weapons. Interesting. So what do they do?
I won't pretend to know each of them specifically.
Interesting.
I don't have any experience with.
Typically, one wants to know before they go on any exercise what tools they have on their belt. It might be worth having a little bit of a conversation to that effect. And, Gillican, of course, over at the end here. Amari, could you tell me what Gillican does?
Gillican is capable of defensive magics, able to create weapons out of his magic, as well as use his spear defensively and offensively.
As one would have thought a spear was able to do. Interesting. Well, this has been quite insightful so far, wouldn't you agree?
Yes, sir.
Cat got your tongue. Well, there we go. I'm having something of a new initiative. It's a new method of sorts that I've been reading about in tomes. I make no secret that I have no vast experience in teaching or lecturing, though I think those of you who are there will agree that holding you to be soldiers is something of a hypocritical move that I'm willing to admit to on my part, and one that was fated for ill fortune. So therefore, I would be much more interested to know who you want to be, so that I may hold you to that standard and know what to expect of you, and what you expect of yourselves. Raum, do you intend to be the finest archer this land has ever seen? Do you intend to find yourself a healer? Do go on.
I intend to be the quickest arrow, but also the strongest wall, sir.
The quickest arrow and the strongest wall. Interesting. And how is that achieved?
I want to stand with both because I want to be able to support my team with my utmost.
Ah.
I want to be there for them and be there for those who cannot stand for themselves, sir.
And here we were, thinking that we'd retired the word support for its uselessness. Even so, a fine answer. You wish to be the fastest arrow and the strongest wall, so therefore will I be hearing from you frequently, learning defensive magics. Will you be training regularly in the grounds? Will you be ingesting and training, such as the like of Murtesh that we see about? It appears the man likes to pick things up and do little else.
Yes, sir.
What time does the fastest arrow and strongest wall get up in the morning? Is he first to the table, first to the field? What books does he read? What matters of magic do you intend to learn?
That's necessary, sir.
All of them that's necessary, I see. Do you feel that being a ranged specialist in a wall may limit you in some capacity?
I've yet to find those limits, sir.
Good. Too many people are close up about that sort of thing. And Lothariel. Who is Lothariel? Say 10 years from now, if we make it that long.
Could you repeat that? Sorry, sir.
I'm simply asking, who is Lothariel 10 years from now? Are you to be the finest healer this land has ever seen? Are you to have branched into other areas? A jack of all trades, master of none, perhaps. Do you intend to do something with that sword on your hip?
The sword, I can't predict my future, sir, but I would like to play a part in curing the devourer.
I'm not asking you to predict the future. I'm asking you to tell me who you want to be.
Stronger, sir.
Stronger. Right, very specific. How are you weak right now? What needs to be addressed? This is your captain here. Jarl needs to know who you want to be, so that he can support you. As do I, as do the members of this of this school.
Physically and offensively, sir. Probably the weakest of the team in that regard.
Indeed. So will you continue to learn divine magics? Will you branch into other areas?
I intend to speak more with Malik about a spell that I'm wishing to learn, sir.
I wish you to speak more with Jarl, and so we can find out what sort of path to set you on, and then I need you to tell me. Jarl?
I think I would like to follow in my father's footsteps, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Commanded a ship.
Command a ship?
Aye, sir. I think that's...
What sort of ship?
What I would like once all this is over. Oh, it was like a large warship, sir.
A warship? Indeed. And did he work for a particular military, or was he a privateer of sorts?
He was in the Navy, sir.
In the Navy? Which one?
No, Flint's, sorry. The Flint's
Navy. Well, I dare say he'll be busy soon if he's still alive. Interesting. You wish to learn to be a captain of a war vessel, and yet you are here commanding a small team. Do you think that's concerning, Amari?
In some regards, yes, sir.
Yes, I would say so as well. What skills will you learn to be this captain, Jarl?
Well, obviously, leadership skills, sir.
Ah, leadership skills. Yes, I dare say that would be a start. An indecisive answer as well. Amari. Do not make myself repeat myself every time. Strong warrior, strong mage.
Strong mage and would like to become more of a leader than I am now.
A strong warrior how?
I'm afraid that definition eludes me, sir.
Well,
It's something that I've strived for my entire life, and yet I have.
to become more competent. Do you wish to become a fighter in a unit? Someone who strikes from the shadows, perhaps?
I suppose if we're talking in those terms, a more defensive capable fighter.
More defensive capable fighter.
Yes, sir.
This is a constant problem I face whenever I've tried anything with any ruddy students at this school. When we learn to fight, we are practicing what? What's another term for learning to fight?
Surviving.
Closest.
Defending.
Self-defense. That's what we call it. It is self-defense, not other attack. Anyone can swing a sword and hurt someone. Anyone can cause a grievous wound to another, even a child with a knife. The primary focus of combat is always defense. So when someone says that they wish to fight defensively, I assume they are very inexperienced indeed. Fighting defensively is the minimum viable product. Knowing how to control the battlefield, where to stand, how to attack, how to hold yourself, and how to minimize risk to yourself and others is part and parcel with training in general. So please, much the same as support, let us be more specific with our terminology than fighting defensively. I will need a better answer from yourself as well, and if I may part with one short word. For any novice on the battlefield, it is hard enough to remember to do one thing, let alone many. There will be time to branch out into other weapon arts later on. From now on, it's best that your captain and your teams can depend on you for one thing solidly. Though I commend your more broadening interests. Avi, then, what have we got planned? A supportive defender entrepreneur?
I'm trying to branch out into being able to swap between basically all of them, to be honest.
All of them?
If I were to be honest, yes, splits with support as healing and defensive capabilities with a shield made by my own
Defensive capabilities with a shield. For what other purpose would you be wielding one?
to defend the people behind me and protect those that I care about.
Right. Avi, please. Let's be specific with our goals and ambitions. Yorl needs your help on this one. He needs to know who you're going to be, what your intentions are. Come on, Avi, where are you in your adult years, grey of beard, with a great bed of sows to fuck at your beck and call? Do you wear a mantle of a warrior? Do you have many books in your great library? Who is Avi?
That is something I am still searching for. When we had our conversation long ago, you said you could at least make me into this hero, but you gave me a new sight. I want to look for what this is, what this something else is.
Good, we'll get to that. Still, though, I'm afraid, Realm, you're leading the trail here. But that's not unexpected. This is early days still. Gillican, then. Who is the mighty Gillican?
I want to be able to adapt to situations. If any of my team members fall, be able to take their place, so they can make stand again. And if I'm speaking more honestly, towards my end goal, curing devouring was the first reason I came here, but I'm not as smart as others when it comes to medical practices.
Mm-hmm.
But now I think I'd like to be the one that for once sends the rift beasts running in terror into whatever hells they crawled out of.
Tell me, I hear this word about the devouring very frequently. I've studied it rather extensively, as it would happen. I was working for a elusive project, shall we say, for many years over in Essex, at which point I became intimately familiar with the passings of the devouring. The screams, the way it sets in. I dare say I've seen it. But that's another matter entirely. If you're fighting any warlock, any necromancer, or anything like that, if the occult is wearing away at your arm, it will persist as long as the power is being channeled. Whilst I do not wish to rule out the possibility of other cures, like as not, removing the source of this devouring is the only thing that will prevent its spread. That means closing the rifts. Or, well, it's a matter for another time. Aqua, I've heard great things about your team from the others. You're generally spoken about rather highly amongst the other students. In fact, I understand that it was you people who were put forwards towards an investor who came recently. So much was the governing body's comfort in you, though I fear now that you appear to have succeeded on chance and natural aptitude alone. If you are to progress, if you are to be able to move forward, you need to work on those visions. Decide who it is you want to be, and know who each other are. Not now, but in the battles to come. Do you understand the purpose of me taking you and asking you this today?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Good. Then I'll be glad to hear who you all are again for a second introduction at some later time. There's one last thing I'd leave you with then. Something which, I dare say may prove slightly challenging, but nonetheless important. Can any of you tell me the difference between a tyrant and a savior?
Perception, sir.
Oh, really? Do go on.
One can save many, rule over them in a kind and caring manner. But one person might view them as the tyrant. One person might view them as their savior.
I see. I understand many of your colleagues, Amari, were part and parcel with wiping out the rats. Was that an act of being saviors and heroes, or was it an act of tyranny?
To us, those who were starving because the rats were stealing our food,
Mm-hmm.
sure, it could be viewed as an act of being a savior.
And there was at no point you could have stopped.
They were conscious creatures.
At no point you could have left them be, culled them within an acceptable number so much. At no point could you have just let them be.
I'm certain they could have, sir.
Interesting. Yes, Raum.
Well, in these cases, the victor is the savior. To them, if we left some of them alive, who would have always been a tyrant, they would have grown to be a bigger menace.
Your cynicism encourages me greatly. Do you really believe, then, there's no such thing as a true hero or true savior?
Oh dear.
You don't believe so?
It is a matter of perspective, sir.
Even the grandest of heroes as some sort of villain that they're fighting against, surely, at least if we're going by story, and that villain would certainly see them as a tyrant.
The reason I ask you this is simple. Your objective is none less than to save the world. The world probably hasn't been kind to many of you, and you haven't seen nearly as much of it as I have. It's a miserable place, filled with miserable people, myself included. There are necromancers, rat men who kill your friends, horrible worms, illnesses that take root in children, untold suffering. I think that in order to actually chart your path forwards, you need to figure out whether you wish to save the world or just the bits of it you like. Just something to ponder upon. We'll talk more on this some other time, but I believe I've taken you over long. I wish to speak to Ventus as well today, if that's at all possible. If you do see them, do tell them that I wish to have that meeting I alluded to. Can I trust that we'll have somewhat more suitable answers later on, and that you'll be able to do good Yorl here a little bit of a solid?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Good.
Yes, sir.
In that case, take your leave.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Nella.
Mr. Nella.
Mr. Nella, sorry.
10 years does seem very graduous, does it? Jerry, thank you very much for subscribing. Very kind indeed. And Kimber for the 100 bits as well. Very, very kind indeed. This is it. This is my new program. Ask them who they want to be and fucking hold them to it. Cut out the fucking bullshit general talk. What is my body doing? That's because I'm spinning around. Oh, wait, no, my sensor's in a different place today. Alright, let's rebind. Oop, do it quickly before I get embarrassed. I'll remember the camera rack step, I promise. It wasn't incredible how much they just fucking kept. How much they kept, like, don't give me this answer, I'm going to give you this answer anyway. If you don't know, just say you don't know. I'll make myself visible outside. Keep an eye out upstairs, that's what I'll do.
Well, why is it called knife?
That's Ignis.
Annoyed? What was it? Oh, nettled. Nettled. Yes, I learned what nettled was today.
Am I to take it that Ventus is on their way? Good. I will be awaiting in my office.
Ventus is currently busy with the alchemy because of the potions in the mist.
Aye, I see.
The only one available.
Well, in that case, I won't keep you. Unfortunate, I had passed a message earlier. I don't suppose you know if Lumen or Ignis are about.
No, I'm sorry, sir.
I'll take a look inside.
It would, but he has actually plenty of creatures in stock.
Oh, very well.
For us, it's just around.
Hmm. Interesting.
Sometime a day, hello?
Because they're all otherwise engaged.
No, it doesn't have much friction, so maybe not.
Acteris, it's becoming daytime again. This is most concerning. I take it I wasn't the only one who noticed that.
I was inside the entire time.
Oh.
I wasn't aware of any changes.
Well, there we go. I will see to it. Do-do-do-do. For God's sake. DM, help! It's the end of the day and it just got brighter.
What are you talking about?
The sun just went higher in the sky.
It's daytime.
But it was the end of the day!
No, it was morning. It was morning.
But I clarified that it was the end of the day, because that was what we said on the meeting.
They returned early morning.
We said they returned afternoon. I even clarified that with people. Fen was like, yeah, no, it's the evening. That was what we said on the meeting. Everybody was like, oh yeah, no morning announcements, because, like, it's not the morning.
No. It's daytime now. They arrived in the morning. They camped out in between sessions.
God damn it, now we have to retcon a load of shit. Okay, fine.
Sorry.
I have it in the meeting notes. I have it in the fucking meeting notes. Oh, Fear Strikes, very kind of you indeed. Thank you very much. Yeah, someone fucked up. Are they all in fucking lessons? God damn it, I need a team. Ah! Is that the alchemy division? Are they all the alchemy division? Holy fucking shit. Alchemy division's huge. God damn it, I found the one team I didn't want to do stuff with. I guess, well, night's still young. They're squads! I need to talk to them as squads! Okay, we'll figure something out. The science team! No, the morning's still young. Frozen, please. Please. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Could go hunting with Octavian. If I could fucking see him, I saw a whisper of his bloody cloak, and then he was gone. Is he hunting right now? Do you know that? Because I'll fly over. I'll do that. Ah, there we are. place feels disgusting. Well, if Octavian's about, he's not forthcoming. Damn it. Yeah, nobody can see me anyway. I'll be involved in a little bit of hijinks. Man, this controller is on the way out. I got something fixed, but I think it's going to need to be replaced anyway. Canadian Goose smacks him in the face. It is massive. It's fucking huge. Do you like this? Cookie and Louie worked on this. I rather like it. Staff bonus farm docks, campus. It could be at the arena, but I flew over the arena, so he's not in the arena. They're all in the bloody school farm. I forgot that we teleport out of the toilet. There we go. I literally think they're all in the school. Fuck. The controller, please. We'll use the men's entrance. Whose classroom is this? Takuya. I haven't seen him today, but that's always on porn. On porn? It's on porn. It's on porn for the stealth professor. That's obviously what I meant to say. Good luck. Exited. Excellent. Good Professor Malik, I don't suppose you've done with the fog. Any interesting findings?
Yes, and it is one I'm sure you'll be very interested in.
That I would.
Apparently, we have a nest of dreadworms.
Ah! I see. Do we know where they are located exactly?
Yes, it seems to be a cave outside of Linvale that the poison mist was emanating from. It is a queen that tends to emanate these much softer poison into a mist to drive away potential predators from its young.
A queen, indeed. And I take it that we will be sending a professor forthwith to dispatch. I am more than willing to go so myself.
No, we will be sending the students.
The students?
This time with plenty of antitoxin. Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, they have faced a greater loss at these things. It will be good for them to confront their loss, I think.
I would tend to agree, but a dreadworm queen, whilst dosed up with an antitoxin they are unfamiliar with. And what of the armor plating?
So, this is an interesting thing. So it turns out that the previous doctor here,
Yes,
as well as Bombadil, actually kept one of the worms.
they did for a time. But I'm glad that was fruitful for something at least.
Does not like the cold.
Oh, really?
Very much does not like the cold. No. It makes their armor far more brittle, as well as makes them sluggish.
I mean, we could sort that out.
Added effect. Oh, we could.
Do you know any of the
send
students?
professors to deal.
Do you know any students which are versed in ice magic? I know there's Gil, of course, but any of the others?
I know that the Zvirica girl in Ventus.
Yes, the ever-quiet Yuki, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I dare say I've ever heard more than 3 words from the girl. Those were muttered at best.
So damn quiet, that one.
So,
Yes,
aside from Gil and our quietest, most timid student, who else exactly were dealing with this, will be exploiting this weakness?
Yes. So, I will be tasking Bombadil over the next several days with creating a cold bomb.
A cold bomb? I see. Some sort of endothermic device. Most curious. I didn't think such things were commonly possible. Severely capable of creating such a thing.
Yes, according to some notes from previous missions, he created much smaller things. A small throwable alchemist creation that suck the heat out of an egg.
Oh, really? So he does more than talk endlessly and get drunk at the breakfast table?
Sometimes.
Well, let's hope this is one of those times. I'm not entirely against your motive to give them some level of, shall we say, revenge against these things, but a substantial threat still poses itself. Do we know, for example, if the young are more potent in venom, the same as a scorpion or snake?
Much weaker, actually.
Unusual. Well,
It is the adult drones that are the real problem we have to deal with.
and I take it you have told the students that this is indeed a dread worm they are facing, and not one but several.
Yes.
I see. Well, it'll be interesting to see how training has prevailed in my absence, though I must say I am more than a little trepidatious about the idea. Well,
I understand, but going in with foreknowledge as well as a good plan, I do believe they will have this covered. I do not want to coddle them. We are asking so much of them to simply hand them their victories.
you're right, I suppose. Well, in that case, I hope this will be a more successful endeavor. Is he drinking? I didn't think he drank.
I'm going to assume that's not alcohol.
I would return once more to a knowledge of him stealing mugs and headbutting boulders.
Yes, he had a bit of a concussion the other day.
From?
He fell out of a tree.
He fell out of... I see.
Yes, I think there is something wrong with our palate.
Yes, I dare say I am more and more inclined to agree. He appears to be excitable as a schoolgirl watching the ships roll in.
He will not be going on the mission, that is for fucking sure. Not while he's in this state.
Indeed. Well, there we go. He appears to be gesticulating to us. But I just get the feeling that Bellicosa is just hating his company, so I think I'm just going to leave it, Gare. Ah, Ventus, just the people I wish to see. Do you know where the rest of your team would be at this present time?
can get Ulysses. Are we meeting in your office?
I was hoping so. Is this one okay?
She can meet with you, Professor.
Yeah.
I'll fetch Ulysses and we'll...
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm handling it, Professor.
My word.
Trying to, at least.
She speaks in full sentences. I take it you've heard of what it is that, the students, your colleagues, will be facing.
Yes, sir.
They say they're weak to ice. To my knowledge, only Illican and yourself have decided to pursue that path of sorcery. And you're still struggling to form complete sentences. In the coming days, much of the students' confidence will depend on you. I do not know what has happened to you in your past, but it is important now to seem confident. Do you understand? No matter how afraid you are.
I do, Professor.
Good. In that case, I will see you in my office shortly. Yeah, the students will find a way to fuck it up. Threadworm Queen, huh? Okay. Round 2, let's see how many dead we can get this time. We had 3 dead the first time we came across that. We've teached. I did some teaching today. I'm going to do some more teaching now. Oh. More wine, I think. Stressful day. Ooh. I am not happy about the worm thing at all. For whole hosts of reasons. Not the least of which being that I am the Iceman. God fucking damn it! I could shred that thing to bits. Oh, well. God knows. These are all primarily defensive based. Could use my lance, but it's a bit ridiculous. Ah, yes, do come in. Ah, thank you kindly. How many of your number are gracing my presence today? 4 are the others? Indeed, what's happened to the others? Are they just not around today, or?
They're resting. They were very.
I see. I understand. Interesting indeed. I was rather hoping that your captain would be present, but it is what it is. So, an interesting couple of, how shall we say, foes have presented themselves. A doting necromancer who refers to her undead abominations as children, or so I am to believe, from Acterus, and a dread worm queen. Thoughts? Feelings?
concerning, to say the least.
Yes? And the rest of you are quite silent on the matter, indifferent automatons as you are. No?
If I might ask, Professor.
Yes.
Why why such strong opinions about the necromancer?
Interesting. I merely regaled what Acterus had said to me. I haven't stated my own opinion at all. Why? What are your feelings on the matter?
I didn't meet her myself. I know rather little of necromancy.
Indeed. Well, then I may school you on the matter somewhat. To most people, they don't need to meet necromancers to form an opinion on them. It's up there with serial baby murderer, that sort of thing. Do you have experience with warlocks, or indeed the practitioners of the occult at all?
No, but given how strongly we were encouraged not to speak of it when we went to the town, and given that there are demons here, I suspect that we have amongst ourselves practitioners.
Indeed. Well, then your intuition has served you so far, then. There are indeed people here who have practiced and continue to practice many things. It is remarkable, as I was saying to Aqua earlier, just how much is kept from public knowledge. It speaks of the covetousness and nervousness of their practitioners. A few discoveries open up entire gateways of possibility, and at no small cost to others. It is unusual to find one situated such. Usually when people taste that power, it doesn't end well for them. Such things can be intoxicating. They fortify themselves up, seal themselves away, ever terrified of being discovered or usurped, lest their dark path be interrupted. Though this one, so I am to believe, is living quite candidly on the outskirts of Limvale. Rather interesting, wouldn't you say? Tell me, a general question for the room. Do you think we have anything to learn from this woman? Of use to us, of course, and the stated objective. You do. And why would that be?
We know why she got to be a necromancer.
Indeed.
And what drove her to be a necromancer.
I see. Good Acterus tells me that she is from Fevra originally, more's the surprise. Unusual indeed that she would be so far-flung, though a remote island such as this may create some small sanctuary for her. To my mind, if we are to close the list, the rifts, we must understand everything about the occult, and that includes that which abhors us most about it. The devouring necromancy. Tell me, did Malik tell you anything about the particulars of how necromancy is performed?
Well, you didn't know? You just said that it burns for the souls of the dead.
Well, I dare say...
Not exactly, but you did say something.
I dare say, as he's comfortable sending you against a dreadworm, perhaps it is best that you are informed on that matter. It might alter some of your opinions, so to speak, though. A discussion to be had with the other staff, so to speak. Nonetheless, I did not draw you here today to call your opinions into question or usurp authority. Instead, I intend to pose to each of you a question. As some of you may recall, I have no particular experience when it comes to teaching. Whilst I have studied broadly and have experiences which I believe this institution stands to benefit greatly from, the particulars of teaching, dear minds, is foreign to me. I was raised in the military from a very young age, as is the custom in Palvendor, and I have not had much experience dealing with tuition outside of the soldiery. I came here initially, tried to treat people as soldiers, and it seems that oversight was ill-fated indeed. So instead, I propose a new technique. Tell me, I'm afraid I don't know most of your names. Care to introduce yourselves?
Talia. Well met, Professor.
Talia was that. I see, thank you. And Hat Boy. Ulysses, I see. Talia, Ulysses. Emma. And of course, it was you. Yuki, something along those. Yuki, was it?
Yes, sir.
I see. Tell me, Yuki. These are your squad mates. What role does Talia perform within this little party of yours?
As a teammate and also a lot more too.
As a teammate and
A lot more.
a lot more.
She acts like
You are headed into battle. The foe is facing you down. You look to your teammate and more, Talia. And what role is she performing? An attacker. And how do they attack? Please speak up.
And a healer, sir.
A healer. They attack by healing the enemy, do they?
No, but she's learning how to heal.
I see. Good. And, Talia, what of Yuki here? What are they doing by your side in the battlefield?
Yuki will defend or attack as needed.
Mm-hmm.
Or give counsel.
Defend, attack, or give counsel. It's not very specific. What do they have in their arsenal? What can they do? What are they capable of?
He's capable of summoning forth weapons.
Summoning forth weapons? Of what sort?
And other magic as yet undetermined. Currently, a leaf of ice.
I see.
He has a shield and a sword.
A shield and a sword. I see. A strong combination. It's still woefully unspecific. Ulysses. Who is Emma in 10 years' time?
From what she has talked to me, what I understand, she will probably be a sharpshooter.
A sharpshooter? Of what sort? A bow? Taking to one of the...
Firearm.
A firearm, indeed. Interesting. Does your captain know that?
Yes.
I see. What will Emma be doing with this firearm? Where will they be standing? What does their ideal outcome look like?
Well, the ideal outcome for her to be behind the frontliners, which would be me and the captain.
No. What's the dream?
Count enemies from afar? Providing cover?
No. Not quite right either. Where are they? What do they look like? What do they do? What are their titles? Who are they known as? How many men do they have lined up? Or women to fuck at a beck and call? What powers do they know? What weapons do they wield? What laureates have they achieved? Who is Emma? Not now, but as they want to be. Do you think any of you, even your captain, could stand to answer such a question of each other?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
I do.
You believe that Taulani knows your innermost desires and wants, and could use them to motivate you?
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Absolutely, sir.
Is this true? What have you told him?
I've explained to him what I wish to gain from here.
Yes.
At his questioning, the day that we were selected, Emma and I.
And what did you tell him? That you wished to attack whilst healing?
No. I told him that here I'm seeking mercy.
Mercy?
Not for myself, but for the world.
Intriguing. That's a noble goal and outcome, but it doesn't describe your place within it.
You are correct. And yet I consider it a full enough answer.
Well, I'm glad that you do. However, I, unfortunately, do not. I wish to hold you to your own standards. Goals and ambitions are important. They allow me to know what you expect of yourselves, what you want for yourselves, and therefore how we can and I can support you as your tutors. They allow us to formulate strategies, to move forwards without friction, to put people to what they are suited best. A clear end goal and vision is vital, and we must not be afraid to ask for what we want. Next time I see you and your team in a situation such as this, I expect you all to be able to be open at least. Declare loudly and proudly, this is who you are, and this is what you want for yourself. Not for the world, not for the team, but for you. What the dream is, do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand why such is maybe useful to yourselves? And to me?
Yes, sir.
Good. It is my plan, over this course of the coming weeks and months, years even, to try and teach you something of what I have known in my various experiences working with the A6 military in various capacities, as well as in my independent occupation since. It is my hope that you may find some use in these, to leverage your own outcomes. A question, then. You are all here in one capacity or another. To save the world, do you not? No small goal. Have you thought about what that means?
Yes.
Has the world been kind to you? Yuki? You've not been here for very long, not perhaps as long as someone like myself, Hectaris, or even, well, Bombadil. But what's your experience of the world so far? Would you say it's been good? Been bad?
It has been, for the most part, bad. But I've also seen some good.
Interesting. And the rest of you, do you have answers along the same sort of vein? Would anyone disagree or reject Yuki's take here? No? I ask you then, what is the difference between a tyrant and a savior?
Could you repeat that, Professor, please?
What is the difference between a tyrant and a savior?
Never heard.
Savior understands what it means to save.
Sir.
You've never heard the word tyrant? Well, then let me describe it for you, someone. A vicious ruler or conqueror, someone who asserts their will over others without their consent in one way or another. A ruler cruel. A conqueror divisive. No one would venture an answer at all.
The Savior would want the world to be able to stand without it. It would want the world to depend upon it, but it to be able to exist even when he's gone.
Interesting.
Or so I think.
Interesting. An unexpected moment of clarity, Ulysses. Maybe there's hope for you yet. I would say that's the full answer I expected, but perhaps something to mull upon. It's a difficult question that we must struggle with every day. As some of you are no doubt aware, last year, a coven of ratmen were exterminated beneath this very school. They were part of the world. The world has many beast tribes within it. To them, do you think that the Rosewood institution were tyrants or saviors?
Parents.
Neither.
Indeed.
From what I've heard, and I wasn't here for it, they weren't subjugated or lorded over. They were murdered.
Yes.
To a man. Or beast.
Then, you may then reasonably assume that perhaps they went too far. That there was a point that they could have safely stopped. That the total eradication of their kindred, when it became premeditative, when it became vengeful, was no longer what we might consider a heroic or savior act. I think most people would tend to agree, unless, of course, they'd had particularly negative experiences with beastmen in the past. Intriguing. I ask you this because it may help formulate that picture that you're forming in your mind of who you are, or who you will be, with work and dedication. As I said, your objective is nothing less than to save the world, and that means all of it. Even the bits you don't like. Even the suffering. Even the rat men. Even the necromancer. All of that sort. All of that pain. They're all in this world. How do you feel about that? Might be worth mulling over. 'Cause it's a big ask. I'd say it's a big ask of anyone, particularly now with you raised in this time. I dare say the world's been ending in one way or another ever since you've been alive. It's a big ask to have you so interested in the world's continuation, wouldn't you say? So who are you? What do you want? And how can we make that happen? I am, of course, available in future times should any of you deign to grow interest in magics. In defense, particularly. I will be counseling you on all manner of things. And hopefully you will find it useful. But I do hope that you relay what we have spoken about today to the remainder of your team. And the importance of it. We are setting out your objectives. I look forward to hearing who you are on our next introduction. Talia, I believe there was something you wished to speak to me about. The rest of you, you are, of course, dismissed.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Interesting. Is there a Ventus if Taulani dies, do you think?
Yes.
Good. I was growing worried. The other professors describe Ventus as something of a familial unit, which has its positives and indeed negatives. I do hope that we see the full outcome of your potentiality. I worry that people depend too much upon him. What's your take?
I believe that of the six of us, he is least able to answer the questions that you posed us.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Well. So, what was it you wished to speak with me on?
If I may, I wish to speak to you about Kiki.
Indeed. Do go on.
From what she's told me, she's taken up your offered tutelage.
Correct.
I'll be frank, I don't have a very strong impression of you from what I've seen so far. This year has been better than my initial impressions, but a lot of the students here, Kiki included, are young and optimistic in the world.
They are.
They're going to need to not be.
I know.
But on the way to being hard, a lot of people will break.
Indeed.
I would very much like for Kiki not to be one of them.
What do you think my reasoning was for singling out Kiki?
Were you to have asked me an hour ago, I'd have said that it's because you're a bully, and you prey on those that are weak. Now I'm less certain.
Miss Bellicosa had harsh words for me when she figured out what had happened between myself and Kiki. Of the little exercise that happened in the arena. She said that she's a creative magic user, a divine caster, and that she wanted her to be the most powerful divine caster on campus, and see nothing but sunshine and rainbows and fluffy hats. How surprising it is, then, that when I talk to Kiki about what she wants, she tells a very different story.
Yeah.
Kiki has been propped up. She is a remarkably strong individual, and in no way, to me, no small way that is, represents a good amount of what this institution is capable of. A young runt harpy cast out by her own kind, coming and training about soldiers, twice her size and with hands and opposable thumbs. She's made a name for herself. She's proven herself to be one of the strongest individuals on the campus. After the first foray down into the rat caves, which was less than successful, though still a remarkable victory, the next day everyone was in tears, walking around the place, crying, moping, wondering how it is they could have lost, trying to figure out what was in their future. But not Kiki. Kiki had baked a load of cupcakes and was walking around with a smile on her face, giving everybody a little hint that everything was going to be all right. I can't abide moping. Anyone who spent any time in the military will know that, well, lack of confidence and low morale spreads like wildfire. There's a reason for all the parades and pomp and circumstance, all the brave faces and step upper lips. It's because everyone around you needs to know that you're trying and holding on. Kiki deserves more than being a mascot or a puppet. She deserves to be what she wants.
I'm here then, I suppose. The rest of my team knows nothing about what you're doing, you and she. I'll help make sure that stays the case. And, as best I can, I'll try to stop her if she reaches the breaking point.
My plans are as follows. I intend to teach her in the various arts to which I myself have acquired an affinity. I am familiar in no small level with Ventus magics, and it is my belief that with the use of such we may be able to restore flight to her, which was robbed from her at birth. When I learned that she had turned to the crafting division to hammer together with her talons some sort of weapons so that she may stand like some malformed Viking, It brought the ire and bile to my mouth. Kiki is a harpy, and should be trained and celebrated as one. I myself am familiar with using glacies to summon weaponry. I was hoping to imbue some of my knowledge onto them so that they may attack as a harpy should, rather than fumble as a human might. I wish to talk to them of defensive magics, of using her enhanced capabilities to be able to maneuver around the battlefield at speed, administering support where she could, a barrier here, a blockade here, administering shields and other such malices. Unlike many others, she particularly stands to benefit from the powers of ice. One of the great things about ice magic is that you can make the ground terribly perilous for others around you, slow their movements, weaken them. Not so for someone of the air. She can glide over any field like no other within the school. And yes, she has a long way to catch up. Nature is not on her side. Things would have been easier were she born a fully fledged, fully grown harpy. But in that angle, she will suffer no more than any others who are not blessed with bulging muscles and towering height. Are you satisfied with that answer? I'm sorry, what?
You called her a disappointment.
A disappointment. Indeed. I was upset that she'd allowed herself to get into this position, and more upset that Taulani was carrying her so eagerly upon his back, as opposed to exploiting what is best and foremost and right for Kiki. I was upset that she hadn't come further, that at no point within the past year had Bellicosa deigned to impart some of that vast magical power she contains onto this young girl, despite the faintest of coaching within the mystical arts. Though such things are not, how shall we say, unexpected. To Bellicosa, power has always been a thing. She is born into a strong lineage. Her grasp of powers far exceed any others. Whilst I have no doubt she had some level of tuition, the speed at which her power grew is unlike that of others. As such, she fails to comprehend what those of us who are blessed with more regular bodies might have to endure. I am hoping that between myself and Acteris we can bridge that gap somewhat. So yes, I'm disappointed in Bellicosa. I'm disappointed in Taulani. And I'm disappointed in her for allowing this to happen. As I have said today, it is my intention to hold you to your own standards. Now, Kiki has told me what she wants, and she has always wanted it. And she is not treading that path.
You've given me clarity, Professor.
And here I was, hoping for a second that perhaps someone had come to ask me about some level of sorcery. Well, there we go. Even so, should you wish to talk about other matters, I'm sure you'll be able to find me around the place. I do apologize. What was that?
I'll have questions for you on that matter at some point.
Good. But I dare say that, well, if we are divulging information about this necromancer, as I do believe we should, you will have any reason to. Anyway, I think I've looked at these walls long enough. I will see you around, Talia.
Of course,
But
Professor.
if she doesn't want to cooperate,
Thank
we're
you.
not. Are we gonna suffer because of it? I don't want to abandon her, but I want her to try at least. What she has, but she's also. Huh? And she said she has, but that makes sense.
Get some music back. Oh, that was a long conversation. Hope that wasn't too boring.
The smart option would, I guess, to go with the necromancer first, right? If you're unsure that she could turn on us, then them would make more sense. If we haven't seen them come out the cave, they're not aggressive in support, right?
Unless, 20 of us can sneak perfectly past a necromancer and her 6+ undead.
Planning.
I don't think we should have any other goal in mind other than to deal with her first.
Have we told them what they're up against?
Because
necromancer. Yes.
In detail.
Plenty of them have been briefed. I am sure they have discussed exactly what they are dealing with.
So they are familiar with the particulars of how necromancy is performed?
Those that were in my office are roughly, not the exact specifics, but they do know in broad terms.
And here we were talking so keenly about preparing them for what they came up against. But I will trust your better judgment.
I believe it would be more beneficial if we know more keenly what we're up against. Because I'm afraid that some of us might not know exactly how evil an act necromancy is, nor what capabilities that entails.
It might be better to set aside this meeting for another day.
I do find this quite amazing. They don't have that reaction to the word necromancer one typically expects.
No.
It's up there with serial baby murderer, you know, that sort of thing. You sort of have this... Yes, well, there is that.
Serial baby murderer.
Many would.
Exactly something I think I would hear out there.
It's bad.
Yes. Alright, I'll give you all a very quick rundown of what a necromancer is and does. A necromancer is a powerful occult practitioner who uses the souls of the dead to raise and inhabit.
There it is.
The process of taking and keeping the souls are not entirely important at the moment. However, what you must know is that these souls are destroyed in this process. They cannot be saved. They are done, ended. There is no meeting void. There is no going beyond the gates of death. There is nothing.
And you are but a power source to be used to take down your companions.
And if that is at our back, trying to attack us, while we're trying to take out the thing that actually matters.
I called on Raum.
What are the conditions for a soul to be extracted? How long does it take? Can it be instantly? Does it go by touch? Does it need to have a ritual? Does this person need to be dead?
That depends very much on who's casting and by what method.
I just want to know if even grabbing them would also already be considered.
would say that if you are facing a necromancer and one of you follows, do not let her get close to you.
Your mana gate, at most times, is guarded. You're guarding it even now, though you may not be aware of it. It comes as naturally to you as breathing. It's the entity through which, within your composition, you expel mana. I'm sure you've been taught this much. You form it and shape it into spells. But suppose for a moment that gateway becomes unguarded, or someone forcefully breaks in. What if instead of you collecting and expelling, they start collecting from you? This is not unfamiliar to other bodily functions. We are more vulnerable whilst we are asleep. You are more vulnerable once you are unconscious. And the more powerful warlock, the faster and more of you they can gather to themselves in a shorter amount of time. Much the same way as Miss Bellicosa here is able to collect large quantities of mana into whatever she's deciding to show off with. Is that somewhat clearer?
Yes, sir.
The important thing you need to know about dealing with the undead themselves is that the soul being used to power their animation is usually held within their head. Sometimes in fancy rocks or crystals, talismans, but there is an anchor of sorts held within their skull that is used to keep the body moving. So headshots are preferable. Attacking the body and limbs may slow an undead down a little bit, but you will not destroy it.
How durable are these undead?
Quite.
It is not uncommon for necromancers to practice various embodiment practices to harden their shells, thus to slow the natural decay. And of course, the might of the soul that powers it and the rate that power is expelled also affects their capabilities. For such reason, undead intended for battle are typically purpose-made. You'll know when you're facing one. General servants, on the other hand, are tuned for longevity, primarily, so as not to spare them the bother. It is an awful trouble having to go out and harvest fresh souls from the innocent.
Crimes this woman has committed to create her little family.
Well, since we're aware of the undead threat we must face, and as a primary threat, I might say, considering the severity of necromancy,
we should most certainly consider it first. We are aware that we are to deal with this necromancer using ranged capabilities, and to be careful of the undead, and to keep in mind how we kill them as well. They're not humans, dead. And, or, of course, any other race, but regardless. Let's get back to talking tactics, shall we? Or would we like to delegate ourselves between our teams and decide what we do best before we reconvene at another time?
I would like to add at least the idea of getting us to take on the Undead and Lumen and Aqua to handle the necromancer to be a fair one, since we would be able to take on the most damage and keep them at bay.
Well, I shall leave you to your delegations. If you have a renewed interest in learning to defend yourself against the magical arts, you know where to find me. Ventus Taulani, you have just missed out on a rather important briefing out in the courtyard, impromptu, though it may be on the matters and particulars of necromancy. I encourage you to join the conversation post-haste.
Yes, Professor.
Of course, Professor.
Very good. Oh, it's almost like I'm teaching. Holy shit. Yep, it's setting in. Just gonna quickly check something in with Caslin. Was that alright, Caslin?
No, yeah, that was great.
Cool. There was a couple of details I was shaky on, so I just wanted to make sure.
No, that's good.
Cool. Oh, yes, absolutely. We could read the notice board. That's a good idea. And absolutely the sort of thing I would do. I just don't have any particular interest in sitting around listening to their plans. I'd prefer to feel what they're coming for. K+ regulations, what have we got here? Fortune teller predicted own death after eating poisonous plant by mistake. Good going, you. Aethertech scientists vows to build giant steam-powered locomotive. Lorem ipsum. Impossible, it'll never work. Massive rift beast in Droza stepped on local cabbage cart. Owner in deep... Okay. Palvendor, within days of Relden keep falling, fully occupied it and reset its defenses. Holy fucking shit, that's impressive. Fuck me, the Palvendor's going nuts. Massive sea monster myth near northern Asic coast gaining more sailor stories. Ah, yes. The Leviathan class. Well, at least it's in northern Asics, Jesus fucking Christ. I don't want that anywhere near us. Mordred's reading and tutoring. To those that cannot read. Okay, I like that. To all the students that can read this message, I will be hosting classes to help those that have difficulty reading and writing in the afternoon. Please relay this information to those who cannot read. Okay. I like that, it's funny. Magician building aetherite explosive disappears in a cloud of smoke and can't be found. Not entirely unusual. Okay, so there's a couple of important ones here. That and that, primarily. That could be something. We'll see. Yeah, I know everything is lorem ipsum. The world is lorem ipsum. Right. Maybe I should go up high where I can see them. And survey. Ooh, I need to fix this controller, holy shit. There's the staircase, I knew it was here somewhere. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Okay, this is my sniff warning again. Oh, I'm sorry. I do like this little garden area. I'll have to have a reason to have a steam up here. I think that's pretty much everybody. Unless... I doubt we'll find anyone around. But just on the off chance. Where are you going? Lost interest in planning, have we?
We clearly don't have enough information, and the group is much too large to have a proper discussion.
Then we are of the same mind. I do not understand the point of appointing captains if you're going to open a discussion forum. What possible efficiency is there in such a thing? It makes no sense at all. I'm glad someone else at least sees eye to eye on this. Same with the debrief this morning. You cannot debrief that many people at once. It's not reasonable. Oh well. What do you make of it, if anything?
It's a simple solution. Distract the necromancer, and then arrange casters or marksmen to get a good shot in.
Indeed.
They're just a normal person like they claim to be.
Then it should be an easy ambush, and we should strike without them noticing. It is a simple thing indeed. Though that being said, given that Actaris now knows who she is and they have had that conversation, I don't doubt she will be building some form of, well, defenses. It's likely that she's making various preparations as we speak. So therefore, it may be best to exploit one of her, I dare say, have you been told anything of a, deal between this woman and the mayor at all?
I heard that it was a rumor.
Indeed. Well, if there is any veracity to this rumor, then I might suggest the best technique is to arrange a dead drop, so to speak, and seizing her there, away from her defenses. Yes, that's probably the best way to handle it. Then we can deal with her house and defenses in more measured scenarios than simply charging the front door. Intriguing. Well, I shall be most interested to hear whichever crackpot plan they come up with. But tell me, what of Lumen? You have been with them for some while now.
They seem intelligent, but they simply need a guiding hand every now and then.
Indeed. I have heard mixed reports of Stella. What do you make of her?
It is a complicated way to explain, but I'll try my best. For most of her mannerisms, they seem downright ludicrous, or even insane.
Indeed.
However, she is a reason for everything she does. Whether or not it's a good reason, I still have yet to find out.
Indeed. And of the more long-standing members of Lumen, do they appear loyal to this woman?
Considering how one of the first things they did was remove her from power, I don't believe so.
Ah. Then it is a crisis of some sort. Ah, Miss Bellicosa, you are sneaking on us.
I am indeed. I was just listening to what you had to say.
I am merely curious as to the structure of the teams, as informed by one particularly promising student.
No, you need not worry, Professor Nella. They've put me in charge of combat formations.
I see. I'm glad to hear it. I am sure the plan will go through at least 7 more iterations before the day is through. So I hope you are well versed and eager to change on the fly, as I have no doubt things will come. What do you make of this
Wouldn't be much different than home.
Dreadworm scenario?
I believe they're armored, correct?
Indeed, and weak only to ice, it would seem, of which I am aware there are only 2 students frequently practicing.
Oh, they're in a cave.
That they are.
As heat rises, if we have some sort of mist of some kind that was mentioned, it would simply go through the entire cave.
Yes.
What was the talk of these bombs?
Yes, I believe.
Apparently, Professor
Do go on.
is making some ice bombs or some explosive ice potions.
I don't like it at all.
Seems rather messy.
Traditionally not fond of explosives in caves.
Yes, I had the same idea. We have no way of surveying how such an explosion may affect the surroundings. And if we force the thing further underground, then we may be just multiplying our problem.
Indeed.
I am
And
quite...
I'm not totally enthused. Not every student wanted to deal with the necromancer first.
Well, it appears we have an interesting conundrum of sorts. I don't doubt we'll get rid of them in one way or another. I am more interested in people's takes on the matter. What's involved with their thinking. Still, I should hope have we the occasion to speak with Lumen more formally within my office at some stage. Perhaps not today, unless the meeting proves very much surprising in brevity, but certainly at some point in the future, if you could relay that request to Stella, I would be most obliged.
Of course.
Thank you kindly. Was there anything else, Miss Bellicosa?
Yes. Feel free to go if you're needed somewhere else.
Of course, I'm going to be continuing my training.
I was wondering if you were going to be on the mission.
So was I. I had offered to deal with it personally, in not so many words.
Mm. And how would you deal with it?
Glassies is my affinity. I'm sure I would have no problem dealing with it, and their poison is of little concern to me.
Mm. And the necromancer?
The necromancer I was just discussing with the young lad. Following Acteris's rather, shall we say, concerned takes on her, and of course the proclivities of the good Chancellor, I would exploit this, how shall we say, relationship that the mayor has with this necromancer. Arrange for one of the new dearly departed, I believe there was a guard of sorts, to be passed over to her and ambush her in the night away from her defenses. She is likely fortifying her position as we speak.
That's what I try to warn them of. There's nothing stopping her from creating more undead as we speak.
Yes, I'm quite surprised to say that they, didn't seize the initiative, so to speak, but perhaps it's best if, we are only now telling them of what's involved.
I suppose. There are many things out of my control. The best I can do is try my best to help them in whatever way I can.
Have you put thought to capturing the necromancer? I'm sorry?
Capturing her?
Yes.
Why would we want to do that?
Because we are facing with a global occult threat, and we could stand to learn from this woman.
That's not a risk I want to put the other students in front of.
Well,
To lead them down very dark paths.
yes, well, unfortunately, we are already on a dark path. I was hoping that her knowledge, strange and secluded though it may be, may lead us to greater insights about the nature of the rifts. It only makes sense if we are to battle the occult to study it closely and without reservation, would you not say?
Yes, don't get me wrong. I'd love to pick her brain and find out how she does what she does. But that would be a risk I'd take by myself. It's not something I can let the others, especially the students, indulge with.
Then why don't you?
Talk to her myself.
Indeed, surely no match for the great Bellicosa.
Do you not have any interest either?
In speaking to her. But of course, however, I dare say you are better suited for such things than I. The occult is as breathing to yourself, is it not?
In ways.
Well, then I'm sure you'll get on right as rain.
Like I said, if I was alone completely, I'd take that risk. But I cannot. Not while I have to protect others around.
Yes, so instead, our option is to send our students on an extremely risky training mission against something that could eradicate their very essence of being. I do not approve of necromancers, no matter how doting, being used as training exercises.
And so what do you want me to do? Go in there, learn every single one of her secrets, and destroy her myself?
Yes.
Then what?
In a word.
Who's going to end me when I become the evil necromancer?
Did you have plans to that effect?
I was tempted.
Do you doubt your commitment should such powers and knowledge come into your mind. I didn't think you so lacking in will.
You're a strange man, Nella. Good evening, Stella.
Good evening.
Interesting. I was just speaking to one of your comrades, the lad from Palvindor.
I see.
I relayed to him that I was hoping to speak to you and yours at some point in the coming days, if not this very afternoon. Is Lumen indisposed at present, or are they winding down for the day?
I believe they were looking for things regarding the antitoxin, but I could gather them together.
I see. Well, that's a noble enough effort, and I shall not interrupt it for now. My office, though if they are otherwise indisposed, it would not do to take them from such pressing work at this given moment. But I would like to speak to your team in as close to totality as possible. It is important that training is not interrupted overmuch by these extra dalliances.
No, I'm good. I'm sure they can take a short break from gathering mushrooms.
I understand that a position, a movement was made to remove your leadership. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah.
Why would that be?
They doubted my leadership capability.
Why?
And the one is that I did not mesh well with the rest of the team. I hold certain biases as a member of nobility for Flint's that kind of grates against them.
Such biases as?
Against Rosens and peasants. Those that aren't in nobility. I told them that I am working on it.
I see.
At the same time, they should also be aware of how the rest of the world views them in the event that they go and somewhere else that isn't here.
So, the savages, in proving that they're not savage, decided to overthrow you and oust you from power.
Yeah.
There's something vaguely humorous to that. Do you hold it against them?
And now our current leader is, not sleeping, not being cognitively aware, and...
Who is your current leader?
Teldkaras.
Ah.
The dragonkin who is sleeping on the top.
Ooh, he has you believing he's dragonkin, does he?
Well, no. He's half dragonkin and half...
Dreksha, yes, considered by much of the world to be an abomination. Interesting. And what of the rest of your teammates? I take it the majority of them are happy with this change of leadership.
Yes.
Amari, you made all the effort to walk all the way up the stairs, only to walk away at the last moment.
I was going to let you have your conversation.
You were going to listen from a distance and don't pretend otherwise. Go on, what did you want?
I was going to take you up on your offer to teach how to defend against magic.
Good.
Whereas my team deemed fit to wait another day, but I do not wish to wait.
I see. Well, that's all reasonable to me. We shall continue this conversation some other time. I would be interested in knowing what you plan to do to improve matters for yourself and for your team. Did you feel you had much to gain from leadership?
I did, yeah.
I see. And is Teldkaras a natural leader of sorts?
No, but the rest of the team seems to like him, so there's not much that I can do.
I see. Leaders don't need to be liked. That's not a common thing. I mean, look at Aqua, for God's sake. Jarl barely talks to anyone, and yet he gets the respect of his team. At least you were more sociable about it. Either way, we shall talk on this some other time. I would not keep Amari waiting. Speak soon, then. And once again, if we could arrange to see Lumen some day soon, that would be marvelous. Fair enough, Amari. If you wouldn't mind coming with me a moment, we'll take a small walk of the grounds. Probably best to go through the back. Tell me, they say that you're a wielder of many arms. Why is that exactly?
Well, that is something that I have picked up more recently. I mainly wield a spear, sir. Though I carry my mother's tonfas as a more close-range weapon.
Indeed. It is a fault of many who are learning to ignore other weaponry. It is a difficult thing to balance. They style themselves to be people of a single arm, such as looks the most fitting to themselves in their mind's eye. It is rare to find someone who is willing to see weapons for what they are. Though what are weapons, Amari?
An extension of oneself to be able to better defend oneself.
Close. Tools was the word answer I was looking for. Weapons are tools. Each of them has a specific use and place. They do not define you as a person. They do not define you as a fighter. They are specific tools developed for specific jobs, either out of necessity or rareness of materials, or for more specific applications such as fighting in a unit or countering a particular foe. So it is with magics. There's an exercise I like to do when I'm starting to teach people to fight. It's a simple enough one. I get two people to face each other in a room and draw weapons, walk forwards, and clash blades. And then I ask them, where did the fight start? Would you care to answer?
Well, I suppose the second they saw each other and realized they were enemies.
A better answer than most. It appears Matesh has grown fond of this location as well. Taking a swim of sorts?
No, I'm just standing here, just taking a moment to watch the water, having a meal.
I see. All by your lonesome.
Yeah.
Interesting. Didn't know if you were around here cultivating some of the mushrooms for Mordred or anything of the sort. They do seem to be rather common growths around here. I'm sure Bombadil has some use of them for their potions. But I will not interrupt your meal then. We shall find some other place. Just in the shade of those trees should do. There. A suitably dry patch. Do be seated. The point of the little exercise I like to perform is to point out that you can go as far back as awareness extends. Most people would answer when they get within range of each other or when they clash blades. People such as yourself do better, I am pleased to announce, and say it as soon as they see each other. But there's more than that. There's awareness of the political leanings of the land, of the territories you're in, of where your opponent likes to hunt, of what food they typically prey upon, of what they're short on. Fighting starts where preparedness starts. And preparedness is predicated on awareness. We cannot defend ourselves against that to which we remain unaware. At any moment, something unexpected could happen, such as rifts occurring across the planet. And we have not defended against them, for we did not understand them. We did not understand them, for we were not aware, so we could not study them. And so it is with magic. The start of all magical training is based on awareness, of utilizing your mana gate. Is in fact not too dissimilar with the fundaments of scrying. Close your eyes for a moment for me. Take a moment to feel the air around you. Listen to the sound of the wind. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Be aware of the temperature, the smells, each more distinct than the last within your nose. The subtle variations of your clothes brushing against your skin. When we focus, we perceive more of what is around us. So, too, is this the case when we fight. Thoughts shut off. Focus comes keen as a knife. We become aware of the smallest things. A shift in our opponent's weight. The movement of their lips. The frequency that their eyes dart here and there amongst us. This state is sacred. For years in Droza, Fevra, Asix, all of us, going back as far as we can remember, have had rituals of the hunt. Ways that we formulate within ourselves, repeat and hold true to try and induce that hunting state, that feeling of heightened sensitivity, of hyper-awareness. For the sooner that we enter into that state, the sooner we can prepare ourselves for the fight that is to come. Being aware of magic and having that sense about you is extremely important. As I'm sure you're aware, holding mana, containing it within your mana gate for any length of time, is difficult Through practice, we are able to hold larger and larger amounts for increasing amounts of time. But what could such things do? Such pitiful efforts against the might of a fireball, an ice spike, or an eruption of the earth. Such things require reflexes, keen response, a reaction in the moment, an awareness. If you can, reach down into that mana gate within your chest. Have you channeled mana before, Amari?
I've made attempts, but none, I believe, successfully, sir.
Then focus instead on your breathing. The air being pulled in and out of you, ever so subtly. The rise and fall within your chest. It's strange, isn't it? That way that the air seems to grow colder the more we focus on our breathing. Follow it. Follow that air down into your chest. And whilst you can within this moment, see if you can notice anything else changing as well. The difficulty of explaining how to use your mana gate to someone who has not been versed in its presence. It's like convincing a blind man how the color red is manifested. It takes patience and time. But slowly, as the color builds, as the impressions are formed, you can notice more and more subtle variations. All of a sudden, it's not like trying to teach a blind man how to see. It's about a musician learning the differences in music. What's a B flat? What's an F? And slowly things become more and more colored from there. It is the difference between being able to tell that the bird is howling, calling out, to knowing which tree it's in, whether it's male or female, what its behavioral patterns are. Such is the same with your awareness. For this reason, much training as we begin to become aware of our mana gates is based around meditation and increased awareness. As you may know, different areas exhibit different properties. Around here, for example, we are close to earth and stone. Try and record in your mind what you feel here as you focus on your breathing. And after you're done here today, go instead to sit behind the water and record the differences again. From there, find somewhere high amongst the wind or close to a fire. The more you focus on those differences, the more you'll be able to know what isn't just your normal senses. The easier it is to begin to see, to sense, to feel the presence of mana around you. Call to it. Hold it in small amounts, and then expel it like you're breathing. This is the fundament of both magics and magical awareness, which will be used to be able to form reactive defensive magics. It is how you will be able to tell when a necromancer is pulling on your energies. And it is how you will become sensitive to the powers that exist all around you. Do you think you can practice this for me, Amari?
Yes, sir.
Good. Then you have some homework of sorts. By all means, take others with you or do it by yourself should you find it fitting. Go to different areas, each closer to different elements, as I'm sure Acteris or Bellicosa has taught you, and try and record and notice those subtle differences within your chest. And I dare say, that should get you started for your first steps. Very good then. You may remain here if you like, or get started straight away. Often I find moving quickly between areas makes the difference more noticeable, but of course that is on you. In that case, I wish you the best of luck. Do return once you think you've noticed something. I will be on my way.
Hello, Professor Nella.
Are you looking for Murtash by chance?
At the moment I'm looking for Yiko.
Ah, I've not seen him in that direction. He's not tried something again, has he?
Apparently he has moldy witch bread, and I'm making sure that he doesn't eat it in his dead.
Moldy witch bread. He stole bread from the necromancer, is it, or?
I'm assuming that they sounded like a nice lady. I think she gave it to him.
I see. Well, I doubt there's anything that's going to extract his soul through bread, but you best be careful. If he starts behaving strangely, stranger than usual, report to the apothecary at once. On your way, then. Best of luck finding him. Rah. People recognizing Kaneko, that doesn't take much. There's a section of upper stomach on Kaneko's characters that people have never seen. I hear she hides snacks there, just off camera.
Hey, Mr. Dowler.
Good day. You're going off in a hurry.
Yeah, just looking for someone.
You're looking to find someone, are you? Who are you looking for?
Emma, actually. Have you seen her?
I don't believe I have. Not in that direction, anyway. I saw Galeb, I saw Murtash, and I saw Amari. And oh wait, no. I did get a moment of her. She was heading this way towards the farm, but that was some time ago now, and she does seem to be fond of belligerence and running. Probably going to stroke the cows again.
Well, I'll try my luck.
Best of luck.
I
Yuko! Which bread is it?
Oh.
Which bread?
Bread?
Bread given to you by a witch.
I have no idea what bread you're talking about.
Caleb is looking for you. He says that you have some witch bread. Bread that he assumes was given to you by a necromancer.
I'll look for Caleb.
Yes. He was running around the place worried sick that you were about to be poisoned.
That's funny. There's no bread to be talked about.
I'm glad to hear it. Either way, he seemed awfully concerned. He was over in the direction of the docks. I would be obliged if you put the poor soul to rest, you know. His mind at ease, so to speak. And of course, I would also be obliged if you were reported to the infirmary should you start to feel stranger than usual.
Sure, Professor.
Good. Nothing but trouble. Which bread?
I don't know.
You don't? Are you sure?
No. Yes, sir.
Good. So, if Yiko turns up sick in the apothecary later, with some mysterious disease or poison, you won't regret telling me that.
I will make sure he does not eat any bread from the witch, sir.
So there was some bread from the witch.
I overheard you say something about witch bread.
I see. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Ah, Lumen. I'm glad to see you. On your way, then. Do look after him.
Yes, sir.
Ah, well, one thing after another. I don't suppose any of you were on the venture, were you?
No. Rather, we are assigned to the kill team.
I see. And have you been, seen Yiko with any bread at all? Though I doubt it's going to be much of a problem.
The only witch's bread he had was from this morning, which he threw away.
Good. Then Caleb's fears are unfounded. Right. Let's go along to my office then. We have an important discussion to have. Well, do line up or gather round. It matters not for this conversation. I've been gathering each of the teams to embark on a little bit of a new tangent. A new exercise, so to speak. I have made no secret in the past that I am very new to teaching in general, and my last foray into expectations of yourself as how shall we say, soldiers was ill-fated at best. Tell Karas. I understand that following a quick coup, you are now the leader of Team Lumen, is that correct?
Upon the decision of my team members, yes, I have been instated as team leader of Lumen.
Good. I am very glad. Well, Tel Karas, you find yourself at the head of a military unit of sorts, a squad, so to speak. Do tell me, what position does Sorelia have in this little group of yours?
Sorelia has the... well, to consider us all, Sorelia is equal in rank to Anora, Kingsley, and Val. However, as a team member, she serves as first line is defense. She is a defensive-focused student and will be used in such cases.
I see.
She is perhaps one of the stronger members of our team.
What are Sorelia's hopes and dreams? Who does Sorelia want to be in 10 years' time? What's the end goal?
I'm afraid we haven't discussed this matter.
Interesting. Then how do you intend to lead her, if you are not able to move her towards her ideal self? Do you intend to force your will upon her, or perhaps hope that she simply conforms to the needs of the team at any given time? You've not given any thought to what Sorelia wants.
No, I have sat and discussed with each and every member of this team our current position, and quite frankly, it has taken some time to get us to the point where we are now, where we are able to sit downstairs and discuss among ourselves recent events. Up until very, very recently, Professor...
Yes?
Team Lumen did not interact in the slightest.
I see.
Now we are starting to form bonds and learn.
Why did you not interact with each other in the slightest?
Well, I believe all of those faults lie with us individually, Professor.
Hmm.
With myself, it was my fear of my race. With... well, Stella did try, but admittedly, we all were presumptuous of her position and her way of acting. And additionally, myself and Sorelia did not get along initially, and, well, perhaps we still don't now. I'm completely unaware of where we stand entirely, but I
see. Then this is most interesting indeed, and fortuitous that we're having this conversation. Val, what position does he have in your little assembly? What does Val want to do? Who does Val want to be?
Well, as it stands, Val serves as our military advisor. He has the most experience with acting in a unit and gives very good counsel on military tactics.
Excellent. And in the battlefield, when he's not advising you?
In the battlefield, when he's not advising me, we are discussing our formations, and currently it falls down to either myself or to Cecilia to fill that role. As a commander, I command the team in different ways outside of military action.
I see. This is very vague, Tal. It has to be said. Could you do any better for Nora or Cecilia? Or even Kingsley? Who do they want to be? What roles do they fill?
Who do they want to be? What roles do they want to fill? Kingsley wishes to serve as the shield of this team and to reconnect with their people. That is a personal goal of theirs I am aware of. In terms of their role, they fill a defensive position, much like Sorelia at our front line.
These are very humble goals for the saviors of our world, wouldn't you say?
Perhaps, Professor,
Cecilia,
if we all
how many husbands do you want?
One.
Just the one. And how big a castle?
The largest.
Many kids.
Of course.
What sort of powers would you like to have wielded? What titles, perhaps, would you earn?
Aside from Queen?
Well, when you're having those little fantasies we all have in our head of you swinging swords or casting spells, what are you doing? What's the ideal Cecilia look like?
Ruling over a unified A6.
What? The future ruler of A6. Now that's some ambition. Interesting. You. I'm afraid I didn't quite get your name. Anura. What goals and ambitions do you have?
Currently, I would like to figure out what the rifts are. I would like to become a very well-versed scholar.
A very well-versed and celebrated scholar, indeed. Interesting. Do you know anything about Tel, or what he wants? I believe that's answer enough. When is Lumen, in a military operation, no longer at operational capacity?
We're no longer at operational capacity when we can no longer function as a unit.
Where does that happen?
When there is a lack of communication.
You'll wait until there's a lack of communication to sound the call for retreat and alarm. Do you see the problem there, Tel?
No.
These people's lives are in your hands. You need to know when the plan is to retreat, and so do they. Sorrelier here is your defensive frontman. Is that correct?
Yes.
What happens when Sorrelier is injured? Do you know? Do you have a plan? Do you know what happens if Sorrelier gets injured?
We rotate for Kingsley.
Rotate to Kingsley. So that's a good plan. Tel, why couldn't you answer that?
You never gave me enough time to answer, Professor.
You should know. I am not a rift beast attacking you. If you thought I didn't give you enough time, I believe I've made my point. It is important to have aspirations and goals. All of you are here to do nothing less than save the world. Such thing is achieved by remarkable people. Remarkable driven people. In remarkable driven teams. Hell, you need to know what they want. I need to know what they want. And you need to be able to tell me. For me and the rest of the teaching staff to be able to support you. I want to hold each and every one of you to account for being who you want to be. I want to be able to chart a course for the greatest scholar of our time, or the future ruler of A6. If they do not wish to be soldiers, if they are to be something greater, if they are to be saviors of sorts, we need to be open and honest about our opinions. Next time I speak to your team, I want you to loudly tell me who you are. A second introduction, as you will, not as you want to be now, or I just want to be stronger, or I want to be supportive, or anything like that. You need to be the best. And you need to be able to tell me that you want to be the best, so we can get working on that forthwith. Because once you know what everybody wants to be, that's when we can start formulating solid tactics and plans, know how to interact with each other. That's when we can have true conversations and cohesion. You have told me that at this moment in time, today, or even in the days prior to this, you had struggled to have anything so much as a conversation. Well, comrades do not necessarily need to be friends. But, unless you are honest and open about what it is you want, others are not able to engineer and appease your desires so that you may have a mutually beneficial relationship. This is the very fundament of politics. There are people the world over who do not like each other, but yet still manage to cooperate because they are honest and open about their desires. And through time, through thousands, perhaps millions of transactions of mutual benefit, sometimes the spark of friendship, alliances of nations is founded. We must be honest about what we want. Have you ever thought about what it is you're being asked to do? How old are you, Anura?
20, sir.
20. Cecilia?
20.
Well.
19.
Well, there we go. I dare say you've not had a very good showing of the world compared to many. Things have been going pretty pear-shaped as long as you've been alive, more or less. Certainly thinking. I dare say the likes of Actaris and Bombadil have seen far more pleasant things than you, but far worse things equally. I ask you this because it may help shape your opinions. Would any of you venture to tell me the difference between a tyrant and a savior?
Public opinion.
Any other answers? What was that?
I think she's pretty on point, sir.
I see. And?
I believe that a tyrant is a man who achieves what he wants through power and for himself, and a savior is someone who is considered at the very least by others to have done it for those around them. They may also be themselves in that situation.
Interesting. Another room full of cynical worldviews. So you don't believe there's anything such as a true savior, then? That no one gets out unscathed? Saving the world is an interesting task to put to one such as yourselves. Because it's not a very nice place, is it? Are you interested in saving the world truly? Or the bits of it that you like? It's an important question to be able to answer. It may formulate your opinions somewhat. Let's talk about the Radmen. The Beast Clan that were beneath the castle. It is my belief that they were trapped here, more or less, by the erection of the barrier and forced into how shall we say, aggression out of need born from lack of foodstuffs. They were denied their hunting grounds. When the people of Rosewood wiped them out, was that heroic?
It was not.
Was there a point, perhaps, that you could have stopped? That the school could have gone, this is likely enough for now. Was there a point for some of the students that it became vengeance?
No, we were merely dealing with an infestation, as it were described, and to clear an infestation, you must wipe it out.
Indeed.
If a single one was left alive, then there could be many more lying around, as it were.
Indeed. Interesting. Do the goals of the school matter to the Ratmen?
They do not, surely.
Do they matter to you?
But they do affect them.
Does it change the way that you think about what happened?
No. Whether the Ratmen be kind or able to speak to us, whatever it may be, whatever their aspirations were, we were given a task which we concluded. That is all that matters, that we followed orders, correct?
So I would have once thought.
On the matter, of course.
I'm asking you what you think now.
Personally, at the time I saw the rats as a potential danger to myself. I do not mean them coming out or attacking. I mean I myself heading in to battle them. I saw them as a threat to my own life, and I saw that situation as something I found myself shaking and scared to be in. Yet I still approached it and managed. And now, my view of such creatures lies in the trust of my team and our purpose here.
Interesting.
This academy of my own will, and I will see it through. However, I must follow the academy's whims to do that, so I shall, without fault.
Do you recognize that that was hard, Sorrel? Given what he is.
Could have been hard for anyone, sir.
Interesting. Very well. In the coming days and months, I will be teaching you defensive magics as well as acting as a guide in various principles of military operations, combat, ice and wind magic, scrying, that sort of thing. Between myself and the rest of the staff, we wish to raise the finest group the world has ever seen. A ridiculous goal that requires ridiculous ambition. And I want to see it and hold you to it. So, Lumen, go away. Decide who you want to be. Be open and honest about it with each other, so that then you can move forward as a unit, and we your teachers. Do you think that you all can introduce yourselves to me again next time that we meet in this room?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You don't sound sure, Sorrel.
I It is a difficult question to answer.
It is. So I encourage you to be earnest with it. Ask what you want, then ask why you want what you want. And after you've done that a few times, then we'll have something to drive you. Do you understand the value of this task?
Yes. Yes.
Good. In that case, I will wish you a very pleasant rest of your evening. I understand there is much work to be done and many risks more to be taken. You are dismissed.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night, sir.
I speak with you for
Of course.
recently. I've been studying different forms of magic.
Indeed.
I'm looking for a spell to protect myself, as I'm going to be on the back lines with a Nura for most of our formations, and doubling as defense.
I see. What's your, magical repertoire so far? Have you been able to cast first-level spells?
I have no magical experience whatsoever.
I see. The day draws close to near to a close, I should say, and I have already sparked a certain degree of interest in Amari as well. I took her out for a session trying to elucidate her on the nature of her manigate later on, as an exercise of training for her to solidify what she's learned. Go and find her, and ask her to recount when I told you. And when you're ready on the morrow, or next should be convenient, me, you, and her will go out and study further. You both have an equal task in mind. You may find equal support in each other undertaking it. Is that acceptable to yourself?
Yes.
Very good. Should you need any difficulty or further counsel following your discussion with Amari, then come and find me then. But in the meantime, I have high hopes for Amari. She seems of a particularly focused mind, not unlike yourself.
I noticed something similar when we were both unsorted.
Very good then. I hope this is an opportunity to solidify that relationship. Very good then. I shall see you both with enthusiasm in the coming days. Bruh. Oh, fucking hell. There's already cause for alarm everywhere. Thank you for following, Saucely. Ooh, how much longer have I got? How long have I been streaming for? Fucking hell, I've been streaming for 4 hours. It felt like it as well. Oh, yeah, well, you know, this is the thing. I would do it to everyone at once, but I don't feel like I can roleplay to a group of, like, more than 5 or 6 people. I feel like even at that point, it starts becoming less of a dialogue and a roleplay and more of just talking at a group of people. I like doing stuff in that sort of size because it means I can focus in and, you know, depict on where people are looking and stuff like that. So I hope it isn't boring that I'm sort of doing the same thing ostensibly with each of the teams, but I genuinely think it's a better experience for them and myself to do it, and we can pick up more of it as a result. Wasn't he interested to see their first reaction was to talk rank? Yeah. Well, we used to do big, like, fucking classrooms, right? But that's just not my bag. I just don't feel like that's roleplay. I feel like that's just lecturing people about bullshit magic shit.
I'm not at liberty to really say.
That's fine.
Alright. You take care.
Yeah, have a good one.
Is there a reason that our arms are in the air? Is this an exercise of sorts?
It is, yeah. We've been doing it for a little
Yes,
bit.
Professor.
Sorry about that, Professor.
It's to strengthen our arms so we can carry our weapons.
Indeed, shield training. Very good. Well, you know, if you need to help, I can facilitate that. I have a number of shields within my classroom. We can just task you with holding them out for a few hours if you feel that'll be useful.
I mean, I have my own shield. I could do it with my...
Ah, yes, but I'm sure I can find something heavier.
No.
Good. Can't stand hoverhand players. I can't stand them.
Of course, I'll seek your counsel another time.
Were you able to determine whether or not the cows were infected, Mordred?
Either way, we've taken some proactive measures to ensure if there was any, there shouldn't be any no longer.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. It's been something of a productive day for myself.
It has. We were just going to check on the barrier to see if it was causing this strange weather event.
Oh, it might be some form of distortion.
Sky and the white fog hugging every single object.
Oh, just some sort of refraction property, I'm sure.
Yes, I think we just need a little bit of tuning. No, that's the Chancellor.
That's the Chancellor.
God, it's only nighttime.
I believe he glows at night.
I believe he glows after he's done his magic.
Yeah.
Perhaps he needs to calm down. And she looks really purple. Is it just my eyes? Have I drank some ale that has gone off?
How you doing tonight?
I see it small shade of
Hello.
purple. But have you seen Caleb?
He's right there.
Caleb's right there.
Yeah.
Caleb, I am reliably informed Yiko threw away the witch bread this morning. However, I did talk with Yiko about it, and I couldn't have been less convinced if he tried.
Yeah, no, he said he ate it.
Yes, of course he did.
No. Oh, God. I tried to bring him to the infirmary, but he was like, no, put him
I
down.
suggest
Well, it's-
an immediate
but take him to the infirmary.
dissection.
Well, it's quite all right, because Caleb assured me that he didn't have any witch bread whatsoever, and that if he turns up in the infirmary, I definitely won't have to discipline them.
Sounds like it's just moldy bread.
Yes, as I said,
Witch bread.
it's unlikely to be stealing their souls, however.
Because he picked it back out.
Better be safe than sorry.
Assumed something that belonged to a necromancer.
Yes.
Well,
We should probably have him like detoxed.
I reckon he's dead.
And nearly kills him. We can't
Moving on.
exactly do anything about it.
Okay.
Anyway, it could be worse. Yeah, I don't want to talk to the rest of them without bringing us here, obviously, including Umbra. Good evening. I'm not sneaking up on you. Yuki, you look as if you've been crying. What's the matter? I'm pretty certain I told you how important it was to look confident at the moment. Oh, they're the same ones. Shit. I don't know what to do about Yiko, dude. He just seems to do stupid shit. Like, some people really enjoy meme characters and stuff like that. I like serious roleplay, and I don't know how to interface with them a lot of the time, particularly if they are just, like, super chaotic. So, hopefully there's kind of more substance to it than just being, you know, just doing that shit for the lols. But we'll see, I guess. There's still a bit of a jank with the Unity fog settings. That's unfortunate. Oh well. I think we're approaching a hard stop. I am not sure though. Quite to your satisfaction, then?
No.
I see. I don't suppose you saw where Malik went.
No. I believe he was heading towards.
In that case, I must have missed him. Very good. Thank you. You have been corporeal for too long today.
Back and then doesn't even get the sample.
Did you happen to see where Chancellor Malik went?
I think he retired for the night.
I see. Unfortunate, I was hoping to catch him.
He told me good night.
Well, I'll see if I can catch him within the lounge. Thank you kindly. Malik. Malik, are you here? Malik. Nowhere to be found. Curious. Want to give me a room? Like it'll ever be slept in. I am exhausted. Rats. See if I can spy him from the side of the cliff. Keeping his arms up still, I see. Interesting. No signs at all. Here's that the mystery of the Chancellor continues.
I think it's a good time to turn in and just chill out for the rest of the night. Agreed. Night. Have a good rest of your night. See you guys tomorrow.
Yet tonight I don't feel like meeting. Perhaps it's time I take part in some meditation myself. Doesn't sound unpleasant. Wins. In. What did you want to be, Nella? Probably not this. But then no one thought to ask you, did they? I just hope that this method proves more fruitful than the last.